Welcome to the 104th video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, I'm going to have to rescue myself. In the previous video, I did a git rebase to reorder some commits so that the git attributes file, which helped us create better archives and exclude the git ignore, I wanted to move that so that it was committed before the 1.0 tag in our history. And I used a git rebase and I reordered the commits. The commits did move. We didn't get any error or anything. The commits moved, but the tag disappeared from the git log. And I tried a bunch of things and I couldn't solve it. My sad conclusion was that I needed to restore from a backup. But I didn't have a backup. Like a lot of you, I got in a hurry and I didn't carefully make a backup between each video like I should. So I had to do some research to solve the problem, and let me show you what I had to do. So here we are in our problem child zone here. Git log shows a linear log. It shows tag version 0, but it doesn't show the 1.0 tag. If I type git tag, there is a 1.0 tag that Git knows about, but it's not in the linear history. And when we did a git fisk, we were able to see some things, and we said, show me the tree, because the tree looked quite suspicious. And when I look at the tree, clearly, I know that's tag 1.0. So I need to move the tag to a new location in the system. And I have to figure out, where does the tag go? When we reordered the commits, we put the commit about the git attributes immediately before tag 1.0. And so if we find the commit we moved, this is it, and we said we put that immediately before 1.0. So this one, this must be 1.0. And you can see here's the hash for that. And so what we want to do is make version 1.0 point to there. And how do we do that? So we do a git tag something, but we're not quite sure what. So we're going to do a man on git tag, and we're going to see, how do we do this? Okay, we could delete the old tag name and set a new one, but that's not really what we want to do. We want to move it. And so there is a -f option, and you can give the tag name and then the commit. So that looks like what we need to do. So we're going to do a git tag version 1.0, and we're going to give our commit hash, which is this one, like that. And if our theory is right, it says it already exists. So we have to do a -f to force it to move. And it says it used to be this, but now it's this. So did we solve the problem, or did we not solve the problem? It might be a little confusing. So if we do a git fisk again, did anything change? Well, you can see now we have a tag in here. And this was CEB something, and you can see that's short for this hash name. So it says that's the old tag, and now you've moved it to this commit. So if we do a git log, yes, our tag shows up, and it's on the correct commit. So that's part of the battle. I believe we have fixed the tag. The next part of the battle is, can we do a git archive with that tag and not include the git ignore, which was our whole goal to begin with. So let's go to temp, see what we've got. Let's get rid of this old one. So there's no way we can be appending to it or updating it. It's just not there. So anything we do is going to be new. And then I need to find my git archive. Okay, so here's my git archive that we did before. And now we need a drum roll, but I don't have a synthesizer to create one. But we're going to find out when we hit the button. Number one, can it find tag 1.0? Number two, can it find all the files? Number three, does it include or exclude the git ignore? We don't want the git ignore, so we hope it's not there. And of course, we added the git attributes, and we don't want that to show either. So what are we going to get? We're going to get exactly what we wanted. We don't have git ignore. We don't have all that other stuff. And, let's check the Taylor sign. We have to remember what should be in there. So how can we check it? We have to unpack that somewhere. So I'm here. I'm going to move to my temp. And I'm going to unpack. We don't need any compression because this is not compressed. And I'm going to unpack it into temp, which will be cleared when I reboot or whatever. So let's take a look at Taylor sign and see what we see. And you can see, yes, this is the old one. It doesn't have this comment here, which we had to fix twice. Okay, it doesn't have the comment at the top, which had an error where I misspelled Taylor sign. All that stuff's not in this commit. Okay, this is the version 1.0 before I made all those mistakes. So yes, version 1.0 tag is working. Everything's good. I can delete this temporary tree. In fact, I can delete this archive. Now I know I can create it. I can create it anytime I want it. And so now I'm going to go back to my home, and I'm going to say, yes, I fixed it. I rescued myself by moving the tag. My research between the last video and this one let me know that when you do a rebase, the tags don't get the new hash IDs automatically. You have to do that by hand, as I've shown you in this video. You have to figure out which one it is, and then you have to do a git tag with a -F to move it. I think that's disappointing, but that's just how it is. And Git did love me. No files were lost. I didn't know it loved me. It sure was tough love, but no data was lost. Everything's there. And if we look at Taylor's sign, right now, we'll see those comments with the correct spelling and with the correct numbers. So everything's okay, but it was scary. And it all had to do with, I did a git rebase that moved a tag. And when that happened, I didn't actually move the tag. I moved something before the tag, but everything gets rewritten starting from the first changed commit, and they all get new hashes. And when they get new hashes, the tag still points to the old one. So what about git fisk? You see all this horrible stuff, but once you're sure everything's okay, we can clean that up. We call the garbage control. We tell them aggressive, which means, delete anything I don't need. And we say prune, which says the date for our cutoff for when we're going to clean is now. So anything older than now that's not in our not connected directly to our history, get rid of it. And when we do that, Git Fist comes out totally clean. Everything's good. We check our log. Our tag is still there. If we look git tag, everything's good. So wow, frightening, frustrating, and it turns out that git rebase worked fine. It just doesn't move the tags for you. You have to do that by hand, like a manual transmission. So head gets updated automatically by the git system, but no other tag gets moved. And so if you do anything that changes the hash of the commit for a tag, you have to manually update the tag by moving it to the new hash. And if you do that, everything's going to be okay. So, wow. At least on the upbeat note, we rescued it, we fixed everything, no data was lost. And the Git archive now does work correctly the way we wanted it to when we pull out version 1.0. We probably ought to move it before version 0.0, but I've had enough excitement. I'm not going to move it anymore. Thank you for sticking with me, and sorry that the previous video ended on a sad note, but we've ended on a positive note on this one. We fixed all the problems. The repo is healthy. And now, like a good boy, I'm going to check the date, and I'm going to create a backup right now while it's still good, while you're watching, so that if anything else goes wrong, I can restore from the backup like I should have done, but I couldn't do. And I'm going to compress that thing. Now, what's the difference between this backup and the Git archive? This backup has everything. It has all the Git history. It has the Git attributes, the Git ignore. This is everything I'd need to recreate it for me, the developer. When we create those Git archive with the Git archive command, that's for some downstream user, and they don't want all the Git history. They don't want Git attributes or Git ignore. They just want enough code that they can build the library and run the test. And so that's the difference. Thank you for listening.